A well finished jacket will forever be a deal. So we're going to be doing that because of this video. A 360-degree finished jacket. This is a cowl neckline jacket. We'll also be looking at how to do the two types of welt pocket, the single and the double side welt pockets. So I'll be showing how to attach the sleeve and achieve a 360-degree finishing for this sleeve. Hello fashion people, let's dive in. But yeah, I'm waiting for the color extension, and then from here I'm going to start to draft our basic body to the front. Also mark out a certain point line this way too. So first of all, we're going to start by placing our neck width and our neck depth. So for our neck width, we're going to be using a standard measurement of 3 inches. So now we're drafting for the jacket we get. So this is for the jacket, not for the inner. So I'm going to be marking 3 by 3. So from here I'll mark 3. I'll mark 3, and then I'm going to be coming down this way too. So if you're making a double-breasted jacket, I have a video on how to make a double-breasted jacket on the channel already, so do want to check it out. So for this, it's not a double-breasted jacket, but a just a button-down suit or blazer jacket, whichever one I want to call it. So I'll just square up my line, just square up my point, a shoulder of 16 3/4. That is to say, is 16.375 is my shoulder. So my shoulder divided by 2, that's giving me 8.1875. So from here, I've already marked out 3 inches. So from here, I'm going to take my shoulder, (1.18), and I'm going to come down for my shoulder slope by 1.25. So let me just bring down this shoulder measurements, 8.1875 here, and then I'm going to connect this to the tip of my neck, the tip of my neck width. So the next thing I'm going to be drafting, taking my armhole. To get your armhole, it's going to be your bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches. So I'm working with a bust of 41. 41 divided by 6 plus 2 inches, that's giving me 8.83. So I'm going to start from this my shoulder slope, and I'm going to be coming down by 8.83. That's almost 9 inches. That's almost 9 inches like this. And I'm going to be extending the line, extending this point this way. Automatically this will become our bust line or our armhole line. So I'm going to bring down this measurement I have here down here, same shoulder measurement, to be able to square it. So this is going to help us in drafting our armhole. Get. So I'm just going to bring the same shoulder divided by 2 inches here, and I'll connect it to my shoulder slope, just as shown. So now I'm going to be marking my bust measurement. So my bust is 41, as I said. 41 divided by 4, that's giving us 10.25. So I'm going to place that here. So I have my 10.25 here now. So I'm going to find the midpoint of my armhole. So I'll just fold my tape into 2 like this. I will just mark it. Then maybe I shouldn't leave this armhole for now, because I'm still going to make an alteration. So rather than drawing the armhole, let's leave it for now. So let's go downwards. So I'm going to be getting my half length. So from my shoulder to my half length, the half length of the front is 19.25. 19.25. Hope you can see here. And then I'm going to extend the measurement this way. 19.25. And I'll square it up as well. So this is our half length, HL, or you can call it your waistline. 25. So I'm going to be completing the length of this by 8.25 5 centimeters. So I will just indicate complete while cutting. Then we can continue to our measurement. So I will just measure from my half length to the hip area. So my hip line, I'll mark my hip line 8 inches, and I'll do the same for this side. Half length to hip 8 inches, and I'll square it up. And I'll label it hip line. So that's my hip line. So let's start placing our horizontal measurements. So starting from the half length or the waistline, I'm going to be placing my waist circumference divided by 4. I have a waist circumference of 33 inches. That's 3 divided by 4. That is giving me 8.25. So I'll mark my 8.25 at this place, at this half length, 8.25. And I'll connect it to this. As simple as that. That's it. And then we're going to divide our hip by 4 as well. The hip I'm working with is 45.25. That's divided by 4. That's giving me 11.3125. 11.3125. So that's almost 11.5. So this is 11.3125. And this same hip measurement, I'm going to be placing it at the full length. Get. So I'll place the same measurements as my full length. Hope you can see. Okay, let me adjust my clip a little. So I'll place the same measurements from here. That's 11.3125. This is it. So now I'm going to connect it to the hip line. And then from the hip line, I will square it up to the waist or the half length. So this is it. And then I'm going to be indicating my darts. So I'm going to be placing my darts. Then I'm going to be having my bust span divided by 2. Having a bust of 6 inches. 6 divided by 2, that's giving 3. I'm going to mark 3 inches at this is the half length, don't forget, for the waistline. And by the side, I'm going to be taking half inches that, making it 1 inch. So this 1 inch, I'm going to replace it here by the side, 1 inch. Hope you are following. Then I'm going to come down from here by 1 inch, and I'll place the same bust span of 3 inches. So I'm going to be connecting this to this, and then I'm going to be coming up from the hip line by 2 inches, and I'll place the same bust span of 3 inches. I went up from the hip line by 2 and I placed the bust span of 3 inches. So I'm now going to be connecting the lines together like this. And then I will connect the dots. So for this 1 inch, I'm going to connect it all the way, connect it over to the bust line or the armhole line, and all the way to the hip region, all the way to the hip. So this is it. So this is now our new waist. So now we are going to, I will be slashing this totally. So because I'm going to be slashing it this way, I will extend this to the full length to get. Hope you are full. So I will extend this that line to the hip area, to the full length, I mean to say. So remember our bust one is 3 inches. So I'll still take 3 inches here, and I'll join it to this point. So this is going to be the princess that cut, or the princess that style line. One thing with princess that is you can make it, if just don't make it, especially if you're a beginner, just the guy tip I'll give you here, that don't make it to be too curvy, like don't make the curve to be deep, because the deeper it is, the more harder it is to sew. So to make it more easier for you to sew, just make it to be somehow straight but still curvy, but not too curvy. I don't know if you're getting what I mean. Somehow straight but not too curvy. You can see the placement of my ruler. So I'll just connect this like this, and then I'll extend it this way. I have to create an extension. So this is our princess dart line, and to this princess dart line I'm going to be 5 inches. So this is my armhole curve now. So this 1.5 inches will usually come out from by, as you know, we extended this by 1.5 inches. This helps to prevent any shortage while trying to join this to this, you get. So now I'm going to try and create this curve, because they have to be a short curve like this at this upper part. It's not meant to be straight like this. So to do that, I will just, to make it easier for us to get, so I'll just try and make use of this midpoint that I drew earlier. So I'll just mark from here and go in by half inch. I'll go in by 0.65, and then I'll connect this to this, and then all the way to the armhole. So this is the easiest way to explain this. And let me connect this one after the other. First of all, connect from here to here, and then to the armhole area like this. Just like seeing that I later used the midpoint of my armhole to create an armhole curve. So we are going to be using this slight extension, this inward curve for the upper part. We're going to be needing this, and then this is going to be the original or the main armhole curve we're going to be using. This is just a guide to help us, to help me explain this, you get. So now I'm going to be coming out from this to get my bottom overlap. So I'm going to be coming out by 1 inch. You can use 1.25, or let me use 1.25. So I'm going to come now by 1.25. On the extension to 1.25. I'm going to be creating this all the way to the hem. So I'll just mark my 1.25. This is for the bottom sitting, or for the overlap, and then connect my dots together. So this is it. So I'll just label here overlap or button sitting. This is an overlap, or I'll just write button, and this is it. So now I'll try and draft out my back pattern. Looking at this already, looking very small. I don't think my back pattern is going to be contained here. So let me just try and make an estimate. So what do we have here? So much than one half. Okay, it's going to enter. So I'll go ahead and draft my back bodice now. So we're going to start with our neck area. So for our neck width is going to be the same 3 inches. Just after you did for the neck width of the front. It's going to be 3 inches, and then the depth is going to be 1 inch. So I'll square this up. And then I'm going to be marking my shoulder divided by 2. My shoulder divided by 2 is giving 8.1. Right? So I'll just mark it. And I'll come back down for my shoulder slope by 1.25. And I'll connect it to the tip of my neck area, of my neck, like this, the tip of the neck width. So just as we did for the front, I'm going to get an armhole. So the armhole, as I said, is bust divided by 6 plus 2 inches, and that's giving 8.83. So from here I'll mark the same thing. So I just realized that this time is not straight. So that's why it's good to make your points like 2 times. So I'm just going to measure from here to here. It's giving almost 10.1. So extend it here. And I'll square it up. So don't forget from here to here. So I'm going to just connect from here to here. That means I just slanted above a little from this point. So yeah, now we are good. So I'll still measure my bust divided by 4, and I'll place it on this line, which is 41 divided by 4, and that is giving 10.25. So I'll place my 10.25 this way. That's my 10.25. But first of all, let's square up this armhole. You get, so the same shoulder divided by 2 that I place this way, I'll bring it down. That's 8.1. Then I can connect it to the shoulder slope and get the back half length. You know, there's a back half length and there's a front half length. So for the back half length I'm working with, I'll subtract this from the front. The front is 19.25 minus, so I have my back. So first of all, I'm going to mark the front half length, and then at the center back I'll mark the back half length, because it's going to, the side back is going to need to align with the front side. So this is my my front half length. This is for the side back, and then for the center back I'm going to be marking my back half length. I'm making it of a back half length of 16 inches. So I'll mark it this way. At the same time I also mark out the back half length just for more clarity. So I'll connect the front half length first, and then I'll stand for the back half length when I place my waist divided by 4 measurements. So my waist divided by 4 is 33 divided by 4. That's giving 8.25. So I'll measure my 8.25 like this, and I'll connect it this way. So because I'm going to be taking my darts, let me just add the darts extension. So I'm going to be using a dart of 1 inch for the darts, and because it's a back, I'm going to be doing my back slope of 1 inch. That's making it an extra 2 inches addition. So I'll just connect it to this. You know what, I'll just try and take them out now so that I avoid confusion. So I'll just plant it this way, and I'll connect from my waist to my bust measurement like this. And remember, our bust span is 3 inch and 6 inches. 6 divided by 2 is giving 3 inches. Bust span of 6 divided by 2 is 3. You get? So because of my shoulder slope, my back slope, which I'm still going to do. So let me just take out the back slope to avoid confusion. So this is my back slope of 1 inch. I'll take out 1 inch from here. And remember, it's just the difference here is I'm taking out the back slope from the back half length, not from the front half length. That's the clarity I want to clarify here. And this back slope is going to make the back to sit properly. Get, it's going to give that slant or curvy shape at the back. At the waist region, it's going to be inward, and then it's going to be coming down to the hip area as well as to the neck depth. You get? So I'll just slant this. That's just that beauty that the blazer has. This is what is going to give us that beauty at the back. So I'll connect this to this, and I'll connect this to the hip area. So let me get my hip. So remember, from the half length to the hip is 8. So I'll measure out my 8 inches. Oh, I don't think my hip can enter here. Oh, it's going to have an overlap. I need to. Gosh, the paper is small. So now what I'm going to do, let me see indicate what I'm trying to explain. So while cutting it out, I'll find a way to do that. I'll cut out the front and then I'll cut out the back. So you just have to end up managing this paper. So this is what I'm trying to explain here. So from this, I'll connect it to the hip line this way. So this is it. And now remember, we added 2 inches to the waist. So now I'm taking out one, the remaining one, and that one is for our that, or our princess that. So from here, remember the bust is 6 divided by 2 is 3. So because of this my that, I'm just going to add an extra 0.5 inches because I don't want the dart to be very close to my center back. I don't know if you're understanding me, but yeah, just follow what I'm doing. You're going to get it. So then I'm marking 3. You can see 3 is very close to this line, just very close. So I'll just mark 3.5. So let me just mark it in a place that is straight. This is 3.5 inches, and at this area I'm going to be coming down by 1 inch as well, and I'll mark my 3.5. And at the sides I'm going to mark out the half inches for the darts, and also at the hip area I'm going to go up from the hip by 3 inches. Remember, for the front you went up by 2 inches, for the back we are going up by 3 inches. And then I also place the same 3.5, that is my dart line, and I'll connect the points this way, and then I'll take out my darts, connect my darts too, and I will send this all over to this point like shown. And just as we did for the front, I'm going to extend this line all the way to the full length. So I'm still going to place my 3.5 inches here, and I will square this up this way. So now I will, the next thing is to mark out the hip area. And you can see my paper is not enough for that, but I will just, for the purpose of this tutorial, I will just make it. After, I'll try and trace this out on a different new paper we get, so that I can separate the front from the back. But for the purpose of this, maybe I should just use the red marker, right? This is going to be overlapping, or is this fine? Is this fine by us? Okay, let's mark. This is 10. Our hip is 45.25 divided by 4. That's giving 11.3125. So if I show you the red marker, just to show clarity, but although I'm going to trace the back on a different sheet, you get, if I want, when I want to cut it out. So let me use my colored red. So this is 11.3125 here, and I will place the same measurements at the full length, 11.3125. So now I'll connect the lines together. I hope this doesn't create confusion. I think the red marker will make it very clear to us. Then I'll connect this. Let me just indicate here. Here is the hip line, and this is the full length, FL. So this is our half length or our waistline. So I'll connect this hip measurement to the waist like this. So this is for our back, and this for our front. So I'll just mark here side, this is side back, and then let me use red marker and mark this side front. I hope this doesn't create confusion, but yeah, I'm going to be connecting to get my princess dart for the back, just as we did for the front. So I'm just going to connect it. So I'm coming back with my black marker now. So I'm just going to connect it this way. So for this back, I'm going to extend it a little by half of an inch. So just this extension for the back is going to be by half of an inch, and then I'll connect this to get my princess, my armhole like this. And now you just so need a curve like this, so you can either just come here and just go in by 0.3 or half inches and just slant this, or you can also use the same thing we do for the back. Get the midpoints. This is the midpoints. And then you try to connect this midpoint to the tip, and then to this point as well. So just do one after the other. Just connect from here to here, since that's the only points that we need there. So this place can you just land it curved in, and there's no need extend it all the way to here because we're going to be using this. So this is our center back. This is our side back, center back. Then also try and cover this the front neck area as well. So now basically we are done with basic bodice block. Apart from the fact that I added a non-overlap or button of 1.25 at the center front, CF center front. So now we are going to transform this into our jacket now. So we're going to be entering into the suit or jacket proper. So for the jacket proper, I'm going to be using my red marker for that. So not to confuse us, you get, I'm going to be using a red marker for the jacket proper. So I'm going to be starting with the shoulder area. You know, the shoulder area is going to have a shoulder pad. Some people, it's shoulder pad that is called, I think that is called worldwide. And for that, I'm going to be using my meter side of tape to do the alteration. So I'm going to be going up from here by 1 meter. So I think the tip of this is cut. I'm sure it's cut. I'm going to be using from 2. Just going to be extending it up by 1 inch because I don't trust the tip of my tape that much. So I'm just going to extend here by 1 meter, and I'm going to be coming out again by 1 meter. From here, I'm going to come up by 1 meter like shown, and then I will connect it to my shoulder tip like this, or to my neck tip, the neck width area. I'll connect it this way, and I'll blend in this extension. You can see this curve, so I'll just blend it in inwards like shown. This is to accommodate the neck pad and to give that jacket illusion, that jacket illusion that you usually have at the shoulder area. And I'll do the same thing for the back as well. So I'm going to go up by 1 meter, and I'll come out by 1 meter as well, and I'll connect this. And I'll blend this in. So now we are done with the alteration at the shoulder. Then we are going to be measuring what we have here. I went back to my inches, so I'll measure what I have. So I'll just keep tilting my tape If you have a flexible tape roll, that's fine. You can use it here. Or if not, a straight ruler can also do the same thing. So make sure you measure this very well. You can repeat the measurement multiple times to be sure of what you are having. So if you want to tilt, you place use your hand, one hand finger to hold it down, and you tilt. That's how to measure a curved area. Just slowly, like shown. So I have mine to be 3.65. That's what I have my back to be. This area to have to be 3.65. So I wrote it down here, and now I'm going to go ahead to attach a paper at this upper part. So I'm going to have to add an extension, a paper extension here. So we start drafting our color now. So for our color, I'm going to the case I want it to break even. So I want it to break even at the half length, which is my waistline. So I'm going to be connecting that to the tip of. So I'm going to go ahead and from the shoulder tip like so, I'm going to connect it to this half length. So I'll extend this line outward. But this is our overlap. You can use 1 inch to this for this. So I use 1.25, and then from here I'm going to extend this all the way to the tip of the neck like this. Tip of the neck width. So following the same pattern, I'm going to extend it forward. You get, so extend it this way. So remember that when we measured the neck width for our back, we got 3.65, which I wrote down there. So what I'm going to be doing is that from this, I'm going to be extending this line by 3.65. So I'm going to be marking that 3.65 here from the shoulder tip. Extend it by what you have as your back neck width when you measure your round back neck. And then from this place, I'm going to go inward by half of an inch. I'll go inward like this by half of an inch to maintain the same length, and then from here I'll connect it all the way to the tip. This is to help the collar sit very well at the neck area, you get, so that it can relax properly. So this is just what you need to do. And then I'm going to be indicating how wide I want my lapel to be. You can make it 3, you can make it 2.5, depending on how wide you want it to be. You get, you can even make it higher. So for mine, I'm going to be using 3 inches for it. And so from this line here, I'll start marking my 3 inches just this way. So you just have to determine how thick you want it to be, like the lapel to be. So first of all, connect it with a straight line like shown. So here is a little bit slant. It's not like straight like this. You see, I tilted my tape a little, my rule a little, and I slanted it this way. So make sure you do the same. So here I'm going to. I want it to curve from here. We get all the way to this point. So I'm going to be getting my master pattern. So the thing is that I'm going to come around this bust area, and I measure 3 inches. I measure my 3 inches. There's I want it to from around this place to slant inwards after here. So I'll measure here. I'll connect this like shown. I'll connect it like this, and then I will now try and create, make this place curvy to the break-even point, just like this. And then I can now blend everything together. So I think I should bring it out more out a little. I think the first one is finer. We use the first one. So for this pointy edge, I will now blend it, like to remove the sharp edge. Blend everything in like this. So now we have, our lapel. Hope these lines are not confusing. So I'm going to be using this, get, and this is it for the lapel part. So looking at this, I think I'll go with a shoulder princess that and not an armhole princess that. So and now I've shown you how to do your armhole princess that. If you're working with this, you want an armhole princess that, just go ahead and cut through like this, you get. But if you want to do a shoulder that, just as I want to change this, all you need to do is to measure from here to here. So just find the midpoint of your shoulder and you're going to be marking that. So the midpoint of mine is, so when you're done measuring, getting the midpoint, all you need to do is to connect it, to the tip of this, so this 1 inches, or to the where the dart leg of this ended. No, it came down here by 1 inch, just what I'm trying to say. So you're going to connect it all the way like this, and then automatically you're not going to be using this armhole line again. So just going to draw your armhole curve from here to this point. You get, I'm going to use the first line first. Then give this extension for the shoulder pad. So from here, just connect to the armhole like this. Connect to the armhole like this. You see? So just like saying, we're going to be using this initial armhole. Oh, we're going to be using this initial armhole curve we get, and then this. We came down, you went in here, so that just means we're going to be using the initial armhole line. We can use this new line I drew, and then this we just blend into it. So we just use this, and then we will just use this line. You get, this will become our new armhole curve. No more this. I'll just cancel this out. We will not more be using this line. And also we also go up to the back pattern and do the same thing. So for the back, I will redraw the armhole too. So this is the back. So we just marked out the midpoint of our back. Just measure from the shoulder to the neck area, and then you find your midpoint just as shown. Find your midpoint and then connect it all the way straight to this point. You just divide what you have here by 2. get the midpoint and connect it to this point. And then I'm going to be drawing our shoulder armhole just like shown. I'm going to make use of this red armhole. Just redraw your armhole, and then that is all for our jacket. As I stated earlier, if you want to make use of the armhole princess, that this is fine, and make use of this. But now I'm going to go ahead to cut this out and I'll add my necessary sewing allowances. So because I'll be splitting here open, I'm going to be using half inch for here. I'm going to add half inch, center back as well half inch, and then for the side I will use 1.25 inches for the side. And for the side front, this is side front SF, I'll be using 1 inch for the side um, for the front side. Over here I'm going to be cutting this way, so for here I'm going to add in half inch, and it's going to be half inch all the way down. So for this center I'm going to be using add half inch on both sides. The armhole half inch, the shoulder half inch, all the way here half inch, half inch, half inch, and then that is all. So I also add my half inch for the back. The neck area too is going to be half inch, the armhole half inch, and then I'm going to go ahead to cut this out. I'll be cutting the front pattern first, so just watch and see how I'm going to be cutting that out. Because I'm going to be cutting this out, I'll just come down here and write it. I need to add an extra 8.25 inches plus allowance. And for the allowance, I'm going to be using 2 inches for the allowance. It's going to be an allowance of 2 inches to the full length of my jacket. And then I'm going to be cutting this out. This how it's going to be. And then this is our collar, extension for the back. So I'm going to go ahead and cut this on fabric using the necessary sewing allowances. Get this for the front. I'll keep this front aside. So let me show you how I'm going to be cutting out the back. So remember the hip area of this enter to the front. So don't worry, I'm going to, when I'm done cutting the front, I'll know the for the hip area I cut it a red line. I'm going to trace it as I'll be coming it here. But that shouldn't be a problem, that's easy to cut. So just cut out this way. So this is from the full length. I'm going to be splitting this up like this. So I'm going to be taking out the dots for back. So I'll just go ahead and cut it on fabric Here is 1 inch, here's half inch, half inch, half inch. By the side is going to be 1.25 inches. And then okay, so I'm going to be cutting out this side when I've attached the joining of the lower part here. So I'm just going to cut it this way, cut it out to get. So I have to attach the joining first, so that's going to match up with this red line and also this hip line. So I need them to be able to pin the lower part when I cut it out after I'm done cutting out the front on fabric. Hope you understand what I'm saying. But if you have yours, just cut it, just cut out the side just as we did for the front, and that is it. This is our front pattern. I've gone ahead to cut it out using the necessary sewing allowances of half inch. So this is the front, center front, and this is the half inch. This is the lapel side, and I've cut it out the way you can see. I completed it to the full length. So what I have here, I just brought it down. So that's what you're also going to be doing. And I added 2 inches for the hemming allowance, and also cut out the lining. So I'm going to be using the same piece for the center back, like the main fabric. So that is what I'm going to be using for the lining of just the center front, the lapel side, you get. And then this is the side front. I'm going ahead to cut it out. So I want to just make the, if you want to use your princess dart line, I have a video on the channel already where I cut a jacket using the armhole princess dart. So I'm going to make sure to link that in the description box as well as in the comment section. So for the side, I added 1.5 inches. Remember, we are cutting this pattern, we use the exact body measurement, so there was no ease, and I wanted my jacket to have ease. I don't want it to be tight on my body, so I use half inch for the ease. That's making it 1.5 inches. So my sewing allowance is going to be 1 inch, and the half inch is going to be for the ease that I want to get. So while sewing, I'm going to be stitching it down by 1 inch when I go to my sewing machine. I'm going to be sewing it down by 1 inch, the 0.5 inch for my sewing allowance. This is the front. You know, the back entered into the front while drafting it out, so that's why I cut this out and I joined it to the back bodies to be able to cut out for the back. So this is the front, and I'll fold it, take this away, and this is the lining piece as well. And also I use an interlining for this. So I use an interlining for this. It's called pepper stay, or there's a cloth stay too. So you can use whichever one is available to you. They are both fine. Just use your iron to press it down, and that's fine. So this is the back. So this is the back piece. So this is my center back, and this is my side back. So I cut it also with the lining piece, so you can see that place there. So you know, for the front, to cut it out this way, and for the red marker is for our back. So I just cut it out and I still taped it to this back pattern so that it will be complete, and then I cut out my pattern. So this is 1.5 inch by the side, 0.5 inch for my sewing allowance. This is 1.5 here, so 0.5 for my ease and 1 inch for my sewing allowance. And I went ahead to add half inch on all over the sides, and so I completed the full length as I did for the front, with 2 inches for the hem, and I also cut out the lining piece. So this is it. So I'm going to go over to my sewing machine now, and I'm going to be sewing this together like this. So this is the center back and this is the side back, and I was sewing it down by this half inch by the side. And also this center back piece, I'm going to be opening it, like when I open it to the other side, I'm going to be joining it together, you get. So I'll do that and I'll show you what I have. So just sew your center back, join it together. This is that side by half of an inch, and the center back too, when you know that they're going to be other side. So when you're going to join the center back too by half of an inch, this is the half inch, and I'm also going to do the same to the front bodies as well. So for this, I'll bring in the front body, so I'll show you how I'm going to be sewing it. So this is my front, this is the front, this is the collar side, and this is the side front. So I'm going to be sewing this together like this by half of an inch. As I'm sewing for the main fabric, I'm also sewing it for the lining as well. So I'm going to stitch it by half of an inch and I'll show you what I have. So stay tuned. Okay, so do the same thing for your lining piece you get. Okay, this is it. So I'm gonna head to sew it down. I have sewn it and I opened up my seam, gave it a good press. So this is the main fabric and I also joined the sides together by 1 inch. I joined together by the side by 1 inch, and then this is the center front and this is the back and this is the front part. So I just joined them together by 1 inch at the sides, and as you can see I pressed open my seams and I also gave it a good press. This is the right side. So I did the same thing for my lining piece, and this is for my lining piece. So I opened up the seam as you can see and I gave it a good press. So now the next thing we're going to be doing is that let me use this one and show you. So I'm going to bring this up. This is the side, this is the back, and this is the front. So I'll just flip it over like this and I'll join the shoulder by 1 inch, and I'll also do the same for this side. I'll just join the shoulder this two by half of an inch here, and I'll be repeating the same thing for the lining. So when I'm done sewing up the shoulder by 1 inch, I'll get the lining piece, and this is the right side of the lining. I'll just press it right side facing each other, and I'll come to the hem. So this is the hem. I'll sew the hem like this by 1 inch. Make sure that right side are facing each other. So when I'm sewing, I make sure that I mash up my seams. So if you join them by half of an inch and then 1 inch for the side, the seams are going to mash up, you get. So we just place it like this and sew it down by half of an inch all the way to the end. And this is the front, and I'll also sew it down by half of an inch. So first of all, join the shoulders separately. There's lining to lining, lining to lining like this, front side facing each other. Just want to go through what I said. So just sew the shoulders together, the back and the front, sew them separately to be a two different, just as this way you're sewing a two different jacket to get. Sew the shoulders together just like this one is the front. Just turn it like this and sew up the shoulder. When you are done sewing up the shoulder for the lining and the plain fabric, then you start trying to sew the hem of the main fabric you get. You now place right side facing each other, lining to main fabric. Sew the lining, the hem by half of an inch, and then you also sew the center front by half of an inch all the way to the hem you get. And you're using the same thing for this side of the center front as well. So I'll do just that and I'll show you what I have. So I'm now on my sewing machine. I want to show you how I'm going to be doing your welt pockets from the thumbnail. So we're going to be creating our welt pockets. I'm going to head to mark out my welt pocket. To mark it, I mark it slightly. On the thumbnail, you're going to find out that the welt pocket is somehow slanting. So I mark this slanting, and from here, I'm going to be attaching my sleeve here. So I'm just going to leave half inch here, and then another half inch or 3/4 inch, and then from there I marked the length I want my welt pocket to be. I'm working with 4.25 for the length of this. You can make use of between 3.5 to 5 inch for your welt pocket. Lies the width. For here I have 4.25, and for the length is going to be a 1 inch welt pocket. So I marked 1 inch and then I divided it in the middle, which is half of an inch, and I squared it up. So here I'm going to be working with this. This is for the breast pockets or the chest pocket, and I cut two pieces of fabric. So for this is 5.75 width, and the length is 7.375. So that's the length and width of this, and I also cut out this. So I'm going to be using two fabric to create that welt pocket as you saw. So one is going to be longer, so just cut a more longer piece of fabric for this. So to do that, I'm going to be placing this like this. This is the right side, this is the right side, and this is the wrong side. And I'm going to make sure that it is placed exactly on where I want to create my welt pockets from, you get. So I'm just going to mash it up, and I'll leave some space up. Like I just leave a little space up because it's just a one. The time you're going to find that it's just a one, it's not a two-way welt pocket, it's just a one way. So I'm just going to get my pin, and I'll pin it down. So I want to mash up the line I drew on my main fabric so that after sewing this line will not be showing. So I'm just going to use my pin and pin it down just as shown. I have a lot of video on this channel how to do a welt pocket. I don't know, maybe you can just check it out. Please watch this video up to this point. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, like, comment, and ask your question in the comment section as well. I'll be there to attend to you. So I'll just try and see if I can recreate this line here. Let me open it up because I already attached it to the back piece. So I'll just try and open up my jacket now and bring this to my sewing machine. I'm just going to be sewing around this. I'll be sewing it up this way, the first square, and also in the middle, just exactly how I drew my line. So go ahead and sew it down. So now I'm done sewing it down, as you can see. So I sewed it down where I drew the next time my line is not much showing. So the next thing is to cut this open. So I'm going to hold this like this at the middle line. So I'm just going to hold it like this and give it a cut, and then I'll open it up. And then I can pass my this. You're cutting both the main fabric and this you place on top. So I'm just going to be cutting it. When I get to almost the edge, I'm going to slant like this and cut it. Make sure that it gets to this tip, but do not cut through your needle, your stitch. Get, and just give it a diagonal cut just as shown. And I also repeating the same thing for this side. So just cut when you're almost at the edge, you just give it a diagonal cut. Don't cut through your stitch, but cut it like cut it very well, you get. And so yeah, I'm done. Then I'm going to turn this inside. So inside this hole, I'm just going to flip this over like this, as well as the upper part. So this is the wrong side now. Just bring it out very well. So the next thing is to go to our sewing machine and press this down. So when you press this down in your sewing machine, I hope you are still following what I'm saying. So once you press this down very well, just make sure you arrange it very well. You press it Spray some water on it and give it a good press. Make sure you press it very well to be just like this. And after you're done pressing it, the next thing is you're going to lift this up. This same fabric you turned inward that we just stitched on. This is it here. Let me show you the back. So this is it here. The next, you know that this hole is 1 inch. So the next thing like this one, that's why I left a longer fabric at the lower part, more and then shorter one for the upper part. So this lower part, you're just going to fold in like this, fold in 1 inch, just to be able to cover this hole, not to cover this hole, just 1 inch. Let it do not be too excess. Let me turn it to the right side so you can see what I'm saying. So just turn it up like this, just fold in 1 inch. That's after giving it a good press, and you press it down as well. So the 1 inch should just be one. It should not be too long. It should not be overlapping like this, and should be shorter. You get? So let it be 1 inch exactly, and then I'll do just that, and I'll show you the next step. So I'll go ahead to do mine. You can see how it's looking. So I just did this. I just pressed it down and I folded it 1 inch, exactly as I explained. So the next thing is to lift this up. Just lift this up a little by the side. So this is diagonal cut we gave earlier. So I'm going to be sewing just at the same stitch that we did earlier. So make sure that it's straight, it's not folded. Make sure that it's straight. Then you can open it up like this, and you're going to be sewing this down. When you're sewing it down together with this fold that you gave here, this 1 inch fold you gave here. So you're sewing down everything like this, apart from this main fabric you get. So just fold it away, and then you're going to be sewing on this. And after sewing on that, you're going to be doing the same thing for this other side as well. Just as simple as that. This thing is to lift this up. So the thing there is that this one you have put this place over my nation. So I'm done sewing this down. So this one is just to keep everything in place. So the next thing is, so you can see this upper part, you also need to sew this down. This is to make sure that not after when you're wearing the pockets, this one will just be tucking outside here a little get. So you just need to sew this down at the same way you did the other one. So together with this is a 1/2 inch cut that we gave when we were doing our slits. So you're just going to sew this same place you run a stitch. Also going to run a stitch together with this piece. We're going to repeat the same thing for the lower part, just together with the stitch you get, just to put everything in place. So now I'm going to be introducing the second piece of fabric. So just know that I put a paper stay on this one as well because of this. So that just to add a little bit of stability to this. So I'm just going to get this is the right side, or placing the right side like this, and then this will be on top. This is our pocket. It's going to be on top, and then what I'm going to be doing is I'll lift this up. I'm not trying to create the pocket sitting. You get, we are done with everything has to do with the front. So next thing I'm just going to, this is a new piece of fabric, so I'll place this over this, and I will use it. You can either use a stitcher machine to sew it down, or if you don't have, you can just wrap it up like this. So I'll be wrapping it up for you. So I'll just wrap this up and use it to wrap it all the way around. You get, so just wrap it all the way around, and I'll be using the size to be the size of this pocket that we have here. So what I have here, I have a pocket of, no, this pocket is not meant to be too deep. It's just This is 3.5 inches from the hole. So this is fine. You can make it 4.5 inches if you desire. So I'll just wrap this up, and that is it for our welt pocket. So this is the welt pocket for the first part, and then we are going to go ahead to do this. So I'm supposed to mark that for this. This is going to be, this is going to have a pocket cover. So for the length of this is 4.5, 4.375. So from here I've sewn this side. This is a side. I just left 1 inch from here, and then I made my line straight, and just the same thing we did for the upper parts. 1 inch, half-inch division, and I'll introduce my fabric now. So this is going to be fabric piece, and I'm going to be placing it this way. So it's going to be the right side facing the right side, just as we did for the other side. But difference now is that this is a one-way pocket, but for this is going to be a two-way pocket. So you're going to make sure you leave enough fabric up and down, get, and at the same time the pocket is going to be short. No, what pocket is just it's not deep. So I'm just going to leave some fabric up and some fabric down, enough to give me the folding I'll be needing later. And then just as we did for the, hope you understand what I'm saying. Let me know, ask your question in the comment section. As I said, I have a lot of video on Welt pocket. Please can check other ones out at the same time, but I'll be trying to explain this as detailed as I can. So I'll just place this over like this, and just as we did for the upper part, I'm just going to be holding this down, and I will sketch out what I have on it. Get, and I will sew it down at the same time. So I'll show you what I have. Maybe let me just go through the process so you can just film the process. For in case if you don't understand the other one, you can get it from the second part. Don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, encourage me, and like, comment, and share. So I also trace this out, so I don't want this line on my fabric to show out all. The color is delicate already, so I can even see it from here. I think it's transparent. You can see this. So now I'm done. I'm going to be sewing around it and also at the middle. So this is it. I've gone ahead to sew it, and just as we did, I've cut it open. So I'm going to turn this inside just as we did for the upper parts. So I'm just going to turn this inside like this. So remember, for this one it's just a one side pocket, but for this one it's going to be a two-way pocket. So, and the space we have in is 1 inch and 1 inch. So I'm just going to go to my pressing table and I'll give it a good press just as we did for the upper parts. But then the difference there is going to be in the covering. So for this covering, I'm going to fold this in just as we folded 1 inch for upper parts. For this one, I'm going to fold it half-inch. Remember, this hole is 1 inch, so we need half-inch here, and we need half-inch fold for the upper parts. So just going to fold this upper parts half-inch and this lower part half-inch, just like this, and then we're going to give it a good press. So make sure that it's straight, that you have it upward. So first of all, press it very well like this before you give your fold. A fold of half-inch up and a fold of half-inch down. And also, this has a pocket cover. I'm going ahead to sew my pocket cover. So I'll turn it over to the right side and I'll give it a good press as well. So it's going to be two pockets, one for this side and one for the other side. And we'll continue when after I'm done doing the pressing. So this is what I have. I'm gonna head to press it down. You can see it's a two-way welt pocket. It's half inch, and so we're going to do the same thing as we did before. So I'm going to be sewing this down, leave this up, sew this down, and also we do the same thing for this other side. And I'll just tack them down, and I'll show you. So I've sewn it down. I've sewn this two side down, and also I'm going to be sewing the upper part down just as we did before. So I'm going to sew this down on this stitch, and I'll sew the lower part as well. So now I'm done. I'm going to be introducing this piece now. So it's meant to be inside this like this. It's meant to be. So while sewing this, I while sewing this, make sure that it's the same width with your welt pocket to get. So just tuck it in, and I want it to be out by, so from this point I want it to be out by, let's say 2.1 or 2.2. I think this is fine. So I'm going to, this is how I want it to be out by, so make sure that it's straight. And then I'll use my pin to hold it on this mouth, the mouth of this upper part, just so make sure it's still in place. And then I hope you understand what I'm doing. So I just pin this thing inside, like in between the mouth, and then I will lift this up. This is the upper part now. So I'm going to tack it together with this line to this first stitch here. So you can just replay the video if you don't understand what I'm doing, but just tack it to this upper part. Just sew it down here. You get. So now I'm done tacking it down. I can just take out my pin. So we have attached this to this upper part. And then the next thing is to cover up the lock to get our pocket closed. So I'm going to introduce the second fabric. Just as we did for the upper part, I'm going to use it to cover up the sides. Like just use it to wrap up the sides, and the waist pocket is ready. So this same process, I'm going to be repeating it for the waist pocket of the other side, and that is it. So this is our jacket. So we are going to continue sewing of the jacket. So we are done with our pocket. Now we are going to come over here. So this is the collar extension at the neck. So we need to place it like this, right sides facing each other, and I'm going to be sewing it down by half of an inch here. After that, I'm going to come over here, make sure I have the center like this, matched up to this back. So this is the back. I'll pin it down, and I will distribute the rest, and I'll sew this down. So I'll do the same thing for the lining piece, and I'll show you what I have. So here I was done. So as you can see, I'm done sewing it down, and I'll join it to the collar. This is the back. See the line matched to the back. I matched it to the back same line, as you can see. I did the same for the lining piece. So this is the lining piece. Let me show you the lining piece. This is the lining piece. I've also sewn it down here. So the next thing, I've joined the lower seam. So I've joined the lining to the main fabric at the hem. I sewed it down by half of an inch, and next up I'm going to be mashing up the sides. So I'm going to bring this collar to collar that we just mashed in now, just sewed now. So I'll open this seam like this, and I'll mash it to this, right sides facing each other. This is where we just joined to the neck now, just now. So I'll just mash it up to the neck. and from one side I will sew it all the way to the hem. So this is the color. So I will just sew lining to main fabric now. Remember, I've joined it at the hem, so now it's just to sew them by the side. So first of all, attach your collar together like the collar we just sewed now. Sew it to the back, then hem it. So when you hem it, you find out that one, the main fabric is going to be longer. So this is what we are trying to achieve. It's meant to give you this push up. So you're going to sew it the way. Sew half of an inch from the hem to the neck to the collar at the back, and then from that back you sew it to the other side. You get what I'm saying? So you're trying to turn the lapel side now, and I will just do just that. So I'm done sewing it. As you can see, I've joined it and I've joined the sides to the lining piece. So this is the lining piece, this is the main piece. So now I'm going to be, this is this back, center back lining. I'm going to be opening this a little, but let me say 6 inches. Maybe you can just measure a width of 6 inches like this and just open this up. So from here I'm going to be turning it over to the right side. So I'll go ahead and use my eraser and just rip it off. Just rip it up like this. Just strip enough to be able to turn the whole fabric to the right side. Now we have sealed the whole sides now. So this is just a medium to turn this to the right side. So I'll just put my hand inside and I'll bring everything out. So I've gone ahead, I ironed the lapel, I ironed this very well, and I've gone ahead to cut out my sleeves. So I'm using a basic sleeve with the lining. So I'm going to be joining this main fabric to main fabric and lining to lining. So you can see I'm not joining the lining to the sleeve. So I'll attach the sleeve on the main fabric by half inches round, and I will attach the lining to the sleeve area too separately by half of an inch. So I've gone ahead to attach my sleeves. So this is the lining and this is the main fabric. So I'll go ahead and I'm going to show you how to turn this with the lining. So you're going to put your hand inside and bring out your lining piece. Just turn it to the wrong side. Now this is the right side now. Just carefully bring it out and turn it to the wrong side. At the same time, you need to put your hand inside and bring out the main fabric, like just the sleeve of the main fabric. You want to be turning to the wrong side as well. So you carefully bring it out this way. So now they're both on the wrong side. Please watch carefully to see what I'm going to be showing you. If you don't get this, your sleeve is going to be twisted inside and it's going to be looking very funny. You get? So you're going to make sure that the shoulders are lined. So this is the shoulder area for this lining. You can see this is the shoulder area. This is the place I sewed it, like I joined the sleeves. So I'm just going to open this up very well and I'll place it this way, and I'll bring in the main fabric. This is the shoulder. So make sure these two shoulders are lined like this and it's straight this way. That means this is the place we joined, and this is the place we joined for the main fabric as well. So you're just going to place it on top of it this way, and then make sure that it's aligned. And then the next thing is that you're going to be bringing this out. Just turn this like this, flip it to the right side this way. Don't twist it. Once you twist it like this, it will be difficult to pull out. Like your sleeve is going to look very funny, like it will be twisted inside. So just listen to what I'm saying. Just bring this is down the right side, just turn this to the right side, just at the hem area, and I'll do this, like I'll mash it up with the right side of this way. You can pause and rewatch the video if you don't get what I did. So just fold this like this, make sure that it's straight, fold it like this, This is the right side of the lining now, and this is the main fabric. I'll just open it up like this. This is now the right side, and I will mash it up like this, right sides facing each other, and I'll go ahead and sew it around, and I will show you what I have. So I'm gonna ahead to sew it down, as you can see. Now I'm going to put my hand inside, and I'll be turning it out to the right side. I'll just push it in, and then I'll show you how I'm going to be attaching my shoulder wadding. So this is it. You can see my hand went in freely. There's no obstruction, and this is it. You can see my finger. So this is it, and I'll go ahead to attach my shoulder pad. I'm using the shoulder pad for it. So I'll just turn this over to the wrong side as shown, and on this shoulder, this is the shoulder where I join the shoulder of the front and the back, and this is the allowance for the sleeve. So I'll just place my wadding this way. So I place my shoulder wadding this way, and I will just tack it down to the lining, making sure that the midpoint like this is on my shoulder, like so. This is the midpoint, and make sure it aligns with this. Then I'll go ahead and sew it on the lining piece. Now I'll do the same thing for the other side, and then I'll show you how to make sure that, sometimes when you wear your suit, the lining will be shifting at the shoulder area, and it will pulling out at the sleeve hem. So I'll be showing you how to do that, but let me join my wadding, and I'll show you that. So I've tagged it down here. So for this upper part, to make this place to sit properly without shifting, what you need to do, this is the shoulder joining for this is the front and the back piece. This is shoulder joining. So I'll just pick up the allowance like this, and carefully sew this down on the allowance. Just tack it just back, front and back. Or if you are not sure, you can do that with your sewing machine. You can use your hand needle to just tack it down. So to make the lining piece to be in one place, all you need to do, this is the wrong side, this is the right side. I'm going to put my hand through the opening we made here, and I'll make sure that the shoulder is straight like this with the lining straight. Then I'll pick up the shoulder, and I'll pick up the shoulder joining of the lining as well. So make sure it's not twisted. Just pick it up gently. Make sure that you right, and the lining too is work like this. Then I can put my hand inside, and I can bring out the toe piece. I can easily make it this way. This is it. There are two ways. You can either use your hand needle and tack it on top of it like this, and tack it all the way to the armpit, or you can go with this method I'm about to show you. Just put your hand inside, and just use each one that is easier for you. So I'm picking up the lining at the shoulder now, and I'm picking this up at the shoulder. Make sure they are not twisted. I'll kindly bring it out this way, and just as I tacked the shoulder pad, I'm just going to go ahead and do a sewing this way. Just a stitch to hold it to this, or I can just do a tack back and forth stitch, just round it. Also the two back and forth, just to make the lining stable inside, so that this is not be showing out at the sleeve or be uncomfortable at the armpit area when you wear it on, when you put it on. I hope you understand what I'm saying. So I'll do just that, and I will show you the final results. So now I'm done. I'll just go ahead and close up this stitch, and just hold it like this and sew it to tack it down. or you can use a hand needle, you can use a hemming gum to cover it up. So I'll just stack it up and I'll go over to my pressing table to press out the whole suit out. So this is our jacket. It's now ready. I've pressed it out. You can see how the collar is lying flat, and we have achieved that 360-degree finishing. So the inside is very neat, and I also we did also the two-way pockets. You can see our pocket is sitting, our waist pocket, the sides, and the chest or breast pocket. So I'll just go ahead and attach my zipper, my button, I mean to say, to the side, and you can see our sleeve. So our sleeve is now sitting properly, and there will be no problem at the sleeve, like the lining pushing to the hem of the sleeve, because we took care of that. So this is the our jacket. So don't forget to give this video a thumbs up, subscribe, and I'll see you in my next video. Also share this video. If you have any question, don't forget to drop it in the comment section. I will attend to you there. So it's ready to attach my buttons, and then I'm done. For the video of the double-breasted jacket, I will leave a link to the video tutorial in the description box. Please do it to check it out. It also has a princess that cut. No, this one used a shoulder that. So I have a video on her on a jacket that has a princess that cut. I want to see the cutting and the sewing. Do it to check that link out. I'll link that in the description box, and I'll see you in my next video. Bye bye.